The Daily Fix by Rohan Venkatamakrishnan PTI Rohan Venkatamakrishnan Share tweet email Reddit print Share tweet email Reddit print Bad faith seems to have permeated just about every aspect of the current constitutional crisis, in which the conduct of the Chief Justice of India has been questioned, first by fellow Supreme Court judges and later by opposition members of Parliament seeking impeachment. On Tuesday, the matter continued to fester. A seemingly sensible decision that the petition challenging the dismissal of an impeachment motion should be heard by the 5 senior-most judges whose names are not involved in the case turned questionable when the court refused to explain how it had ordered that decision. To recap, in January, 4 Supreme Court judges held an unprecedented press conference questioning the conduct of the Chief Justice of India Deepak Misra, particularly pointing to his selection of benches for matters, one of which is a corruption case in which his own orders have been questioned. Not much came of the press conference within the court, but it prompted political parties to move into action. In April, a clutch of 7 led by the Congress moved an impeachment motion. This was summarily dismissed by Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu, and the Congress in turn challenged this dismissal in the Supreme Court. This was always going to be a complicated situation. Would the Chief Justice constitute the very bench that would hear the case challenging the dismissal of an impeachment motion, especially when the motion itself questioned the manner in which he was constituting benches? Would the case bypass the Chief Justice and go instead to one of the next 4 senior-most judges, whose contentions are in fact the source material for the impeachment motion? From a friend. Sums it up. Pic.twitter.com/salute Gautambadia at Gautambasha88 May 8, 2018. In the event, the case was abruptly handed over to a constitution bench featuring the 5 senior-most judges not involved in the matter, essentially bypassing the Chief Justice and the 4 judges who had spoken out against him. This makes some sense, except for the question of who set up this bench in the first place. The Chief Justice is master of the roster, meaning he has full powers to form benches, so did he order the formation of this one? If so, is that problematic, considering it pertains to his own impeachment? When senior lawyer and Congress leader Kapil Sibal made this query before the bench on Tuesday, it refused to provide the administrative order that directed the formation of the bench. After much back and forth, Sibal withdrew the petition, saying there was no point proceeding without understanding how the bench had been set up. His fellow advocate Prashant Bhushan then filed a right to information request, demanding to know how the bench was set up. The Supreme Court seems to have done the right thing in the matter, giving the case to the 5 senior-most judges whose names are not involved. Yet the manner in which it was done and the refusal to provide the order naturally raises doubts about the whole process. Similarly, the Congress's decision to keep pushing for impeachment made sense after the unprecedented press conference by the judges. Yet its choice of moving forward months later after the Loya judgment and without a thorough endorsement from party leaders made the move seem more tactical than genuine. And Naidu's almost overnight order dismissing the impeachment motion is even more suspect, even if some of the conclusions he drew were based on genuine concerns. The reputation of the top court of the land remains perched on a tightrope, as Bhushan's RTI proceeds, while the MPs wait to move another petition challenging the dismissal of the impeachment motion. The court had the opportunity to settle this question, just as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha had the chance to order an inquiry and resolve all questions about the Chief Justice's actions. Instead, for now, a sword will continue to dangle over the Supreme Court of India, an unfortunate situation moving into an election year where judicial decisions could have outsized effects on the future of the country. Tagore could see that violence is implicit in the idolatry of the nation, because, as he wrote in an essay on nationalism, man's power of sacrifice is diverted from his ultimate object, which is moral, to the maintenance of this organization which is mechanical, writes Avijit Pathak in the Indian Express. Today the Nagas have transcended the victimhood syndrome and shed their hatred for an India once perceived to be the enemy, writes Patricia Mukim in The Hindu. The current interlocutor, R.N. Ravi, too, has been most open and accepting of a broad spectrum of views from a cross-section of Naga civil society. It is in this climate of mutual respect that the framework agreement ought to proceed, which is what drives it, according to Mr. Ravi. I went back to "the man who hit me," writes Meghan McArdle in The Washington Post. And even with 25 years to think about it, I'm still pondering why. Ajay Shukla explains how new U.S. sanctions against countries that buy weaponry from Russia could affect India's defense plans. Yet, as Hindutva takes control in India, it is worthwhile revisiting Jinnah's prediction that Muslims in India would be shut out of power as a permanent minority in a majoritarian system. In hindsight, Jinnah's solution might not have been correct, but it seems his identification of the problem, as the commentator Akar Patel noted in the Times of India, was. For example, Muslim representation in the Lok Sabha is at an all-time low with just 22 MPs in the 545-strong current House, less than a third of what it should have been were the Lok Sabha to mirror the Indian population. Even this small number is skewed, with 14 states having failed to elect a single Muslim MP in the last 25 years. A state like Gujarat has all of 3 Muslim MLAs in its 182-seat assembly. In Uttar Pradesh, Muslim MLAs make up just 5.9% of the 404-member assembly, while the community accounts for 19.2% of the state's population. If these headline statistics were not bad enough, Muslims have been excluded from local, state and national power structures under the current government. They are not given tickets to contest elections and, in some cases, prominent BJP leaders have made it clear in as many words that the party does not even want Muslim votes. As a result, treasury benches in legislatures have almost no Muslims, casting the community into a permanent minority status, locked out of power and dependent on majoritarian whims. Moreover, the BJP's charge of appeasement means that other parties are also wary of offering Muslims benefits that would otherwise be a normal part of a democracy. Political marginalization, of course, has a host of knock-on effects including, most prominently, physical safety, with hate crimes against Muslims on the rise. Support our journalism by subscribing to Scroll Here. We welcome your comments at letters@scroll.in. The Daily Fix. Supreme Court Impeachment Chief Justice of India Deepak Misra. Sponsored content by published April 16, 2018, 12:38 p.m. Shutterstock. Share tweet email Reddit print. Share tweet email Reddit print. You probably have heard of Ladakh's beloved educationist and innovator, Sonam Wangchuk. He was the inspiration behind Funsuk Wangdu, the whimsical, genius protagonist of the 2009 film, 3 Idiots. As an engineer, he pioneered innovative concepts such as ice stupas, vertical ice towers developed to combat Ladakh's acute water scarcity during spring. Wangchuk's dream project, though, is the Himalayan Institute of Alternatives, HIAL, an alternative university where youth from different Himalayan countries will convene to research on issues faced by mountain people. This ambitious project, trying to foster collaboration, will benefit tremendously from good connectivity in the region. Recently, Wangchuk spoke about the potential improved connectivity holds for people of Ladakh in a Facebook post. "This Sunday was very special for me. It was perhaps the first time ever that a person in Ladakh addressed a live seminar in another city using video conferencing over public internet. Sanam Wangchuk. About 250 Ladakhi students studying in Chandigarh connected with Wangchuk for the seminar, which was organized by the Ladakh Students Association. As is to be expected of a passionate teacher, Wangchuk was quick to emphasize to students the importance of balancing of digital and offline lives. Sanam Wangchuk thanked Airtel for making 4G connectivity a reality in Ladakh. Having launched in December 2017, Airtel became the first operator to provide 4G services in the Ladakh, and will serve around 130 towns and villages in Dras, Kargil and Leh regions. 4G availability in Ladakh benefits not only the local population, but also the large number of tourists that visit the Ladakh region every year. High-speed data services will now be available at popular destinations such as Kargil War Memorial, Shanti Stupa, Leh Palace and more. To read and share Sanam Wangchuk's Facebook post, see here. This article was provided by the Scroll marketing team on behalf of Airtel and not by the Scroll editorial team.